Ever feel like you're doing everything right, but still feel stuck? The career, the house, the script we followed, yet something's missing. Everyone said we made it. We realized we'd been climbing someone else's ladder. That realization sparked a journey toward liberation, toward Africa, toward intention. We haven't left yet, but the shift has already begun. Liberation doesn't start with a move. It starts the moment you stop asking permission. Hi, I'm Simone.
Hi, and I'm Luke.
And welcome back to our liberation journey, where we share how we are building location-independent businesses, investing in Africa, as well as planning our family's relocation to South Africa. Now, it's been a little bit of time since the two of us have done a video together. I know we're already in February, but I do want to acknowledge that we are in a new year. So again, Happy New Year. I did post a video a few weeks ago focused on real estate and our process thus far in investing in 2 properties in Johannesburg. But because this is the first time Luke and I are recording together for the year, I just wanted to again acknowledge that we are in a new year and to say Happy New Year. Any comments before we move forward?
Happy New Year. Feels good to be back. We miss you. And let's get this started.
All right. So today's episode, we're actually going to focus on our children and the steps that we're currently taking to, one, create a list of schools, and then to certainly finalize and narrow that down to 1 or 2 schools that will ultimately apply to enroll our children in. But before we do that, I did want to give a couple of updates and then also share something that I came across last week, and I thought it really illustrates our journey and why we've decided to embark on this process of relocation. All right, so update number 1. We mentioned about investing in a property in Durban. And unfortunately, we are not going to move forward with that particular property. We do intend to ultimately invest in Durban, but the particular property that we were looking at, we didn't move forward. And so I did want to just bring up a couple of points about that, because I think it really helps to provide information for people and things to just be aware of and to consider when you are looking at different properties, determining whether or not they align with your goals and objectives. And so there was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, loft style apartment that we were looking to purchase. As in previous episodes, our current focus with respect to real estate is identifying properties that can be utilized for short-term rentals. And so Durban is definitely a very good market if you are interested in short-term rentals in South Africa. Durban is, particularly the northern coast, is booming with lots of different new developments. I think we mentioned in a previous episode about Club Med opening up its first all-inclusive resort in South Africa, which is in Durban. and that is actually due to open, I think, in the summer of this year.
Yes.
So there's lots and lots of development outside of that particular project going on. So Durban is definitely a good market to look at and consider. But what happened ultimately with the property that we were looking to purchase, we, again, because we're using it as short-term rentals, we wanted to purchase it through a business entity, which we've established that we use to purchase the properties in Johannesburg. And so with the price point of this particular unit, different from the price points for the Johannesburg units, we were looking to finance up to 50%. Because we really didn't want to put all of that capital into just one property. We want to be able to kind of spread our money out a little bit more. So we were looking to finance it 50%. So as a foreigner, you can get financing in South Africa up to 50%. So you do have to put at least 50% down. Certainly, if you want to pay cash, you can. But for this particular unit, we were looking to finance it. So before we even started the process of negotiating the contract and all of that and having it reviewed by an attorney, we solicited a help of what they call a bond originator. Mm-hmm. Essentially, it's someone who's kind of like a go-between you and banks to, one, vet and see, okay, will these banks be open to, financing? So we actually had submitted a bunch of documentation to them, just, financials and things like that, just so that they can kind of see, similar to the US, where you kind of get a pre-approval.
Yeah.
Based on, your financial situation. So we did all that, got approved for a certain amount of money. And then one thing that I was very clear with the bond originator is that we definitely wanted to be able to finance it through our business entity. And so I was very kind of clear on that. And so if we weren't able to do that, then we weren't gonna, move forward. So they, reached out to several of the banks in South Africa. Some of them did say no, they wouldn't finance through a business entity because it's owned predominantly by a foreigner. So there is a distinction. So there are businesses that you can get financing. You can have a business in South Africa and get financing, but you have to have a certain percentage of ownership by a native South African. And so this particular business entity that we established to buy the properties in Johannesburg, we're the sole owners of that business because it's just for purchasing, real estate. So that's something to be aware of. As a foreign investor, if you are looking to invest and looking to do it through a business entity, in order to get financing through that business has to have a particular percentage of ownership by a native South African. And then the other thing that was brought to our attention is that you also should have a business visa set up through that business entity. So those are things to just, be aware of. Now, this doesn't apply to if you're trying to purchase a property in your personal name. Like if you want to purchase something in your personal name,
Yeah.
and you want to get financing, you can do that without having a long-term visa. But this is specifically if you're trying to get financing through a business entity. You do have to have either over 50% ownership by a native South African, or you have to have a business visa. And in order to have a business visa, there are certain parameters that you have to meet. There's a certain amount of capital that you have to invest in that business. And there's a certain percentage of native South Africans that you have to employ through that business. And so our current business entity, we don't have any employees. It was solely put together to be able to purchase properties in order for them to be rented out. Certainly in the future, once those properties are like up and running, we will be having, obviously people who will be managing the properties as far as like cleaning, maintenance, those sorts of things. But at this current state, like we don't have any employees, so we're certainly not in a position to get a business visa for this particular business. So those are things just to be aware of if you're going to be investing as a foreigner and if you want to do it through a business entity. Again, this is not if you are trying to purchase a property in your own personal name. These things it's a different situation. So that's the update with respect to the Durban. We'll, still are going to, go back to the drawing board and figure out, because there are other opportunities in Durban that may align a little bit better without having to go, the financing route. But the particular property that we were discussing before that particular transaction, we are not moving forward with. So that's update number one. I know it was a little bit long, but I just wanted to kind of wrap up.
It was needed. That information was needed to get that point across because one thing we will do is we'll be open and honest and transparent during this journey. So, hiccups do happen. And the most important thing with this process is we don't panic, we just pivot. So, and now we're pivoting in a different direction. But what we said before is we're going to do things the right way and not our way because we have to follow the rules that do apply when we come over to South Africa. So once again, it's the right way, not our way, dealing with those things, dealing with the way South Africa moves in that process with real estate and on the business side and what you need for the proper information. So information was great. You did a great job. And I think they need to hear this information. So we talked about sharing it, and we're going to be transparent. We're going to be open. We're going to be honest. And please, if you have any questions, please comment, and we'll share our information with you, okay?
Yeah. So the second update that I wanted to share is from a visa standpoint. There are multiple different visas, as many of you are probably aware, and it's important if you are looking to relocate for a long-term stay, you need obviously a long-term visa. So for us, we were looking at the different options. So just to kind of go over them briefly as far as the common ones that particularly U.S. citizens may utilize. So there's a retirement visa, which, Luke and I are not retired, and we don't have, like retirement income. There are some people that are our age that may have, been in the military and put in their, time and are getting a retirement income through that, although they're not technically of retirement age. But we don't have any of those things. There is the, what's the other one?
Skilled workers.
Well, I was going to get to skilled workers.
Okay.
So retirement visa, there is the remote workers visa. That's what I want to say. Remote workers visa, which neither of us are employed by a company that we are remote. So that one is not currently applicable to us, although, we could potentially look for an employer that provides remote work. So that doesn't apply. I just mentioned a business, so there's business visa. Although we do have a business entity, for the reasons that I just mentioned, our business doesn't qualify for a business visa in its current iteration. And certainly there are things that we are working on where we do intend to have businesses that employ South Africans, but we're not currently there yet. And in order to, you know, meet the timeline that we're looking to have,
Yeah.
by being able to relocate by the end of this year, the business visa really probably is not the current way to go to get to that point as far as timeline. So then the last one that we were looking at is the critical skills visa. So did I mention maybe in the beginning, maybe the first episode?
Yeah, we did
We
talk
talked
about,
about
we did talk about
what
that.
what we do.
Yes, we did talk about that. We did. Yeah, we definitely did talk
So
about that.
so I'm a physician by training, and so that certainly is one of the professions that is on the critical skills visa. So there's a whole list of different occupations that fall underneath that critical skills visa. So for us, that particular visa seems to be the best route to go. So we have started that process of submitting documentation for credentialing, because obviously they have to verify that
It's important.
that I actually can do what I say I can do, or
That's
do
important.
what I say I have done, as far as medical school, surgical training, all of those different things. So we're starting that process, and yeah, so we're going to continue to share more of that as we go forward. But I did want to just kind of give that update as well. So before we move into the topic
Yes.
of today's episode, I wanted to share something that Luke and I heard last week, right?
Yes.
Was it last week or the week
was.
before?
It was.
It was last week.
It was last week. It was last week.
We heard this shared on a radio show that we were listening to on Sirius XM, Urban View.
Yes.
If you don't know, go check them out. Channel 126. Yes, 126.
Yes. Very good.
So we were listening to Larry Daniel Faber's show, and she shared something that was posted on her YouTube page in the comments section. And when she was sharing it, we were sitting there listening, and I'm thinking to myself, this is like, it just illustrates completely why we have embarked on this journey of relocation to South Africa, and just to connecting, or reconnecting, I should say, with the continent as a whole. So I'm gonna read it, because I didn't write this, so I definitely want to be crystal clear about that. We did not write this.
No.
Based on how it was shared, it wasn't clear who the author was, but she did acknowledge the person who posted it on her channel, which it wasn't their name, it was whatever their handle is on YouTube. But I just wanted to share this, because I think there's a lot of conversation around particularly people of African descent born in the U.S. wanting to explore, relocate to the continent, particularly with all of the frenzy around Isho Speed doing his Africa tour. And, there's a lot of back and forth about, why are we so all of a sudden focused on the continent, and so I just want to share this, because I think for us it really illustrates why we have chosen to relocate, and why we have chosen to reconnect with the continent. So just bear with me. The title is "To Bloom Where We Belong." a poetic essay on memory, movement, and the search for home. We're told to plant our roots here in a land where the trees still whisper slave names, and the rivers remember the weight of chained bodies. We are told to call it home. But how do you settle your soul in a place where your grandmother's tears are mixed with the mortar and your great-grandfather's blood stains the brick? We built this country, yes, but not like a man builds his house. We built it like oxen, like tools, like ghosts whipped into walls, buried beneath highways, remembered only when convenient. They say we should be proud of what we made, but we didn't make it. We were forced to birth it while mourning our own stolen beginning. They ask, why not attach your roots here? Why not stay and fight and bloom in the soil you bled for? But I ask, can you plant seeds in a graveyard and expect fruit that doesn't taste like grief?
You good?
Yeah.
You got it. It's deep. It's a lot.
I got it.
You got it. You got it. I'm here with you.
Our story didn't start in chains. We came from lands where drums spoke like prophets, and gold grew from rivers like reeds, from kingdoms with names they never taught us: Ashanti, Mali, Kemet. Civilizations where we were not minorities, but kings and midwives and scientists and sons of the sun. God did not place us in the halls of ships. Men did that. Sin did that. Greed did that. And yet we ask God to turn this into Eden. I think of Moses, and I wonder why we don't. Moses didn't lead his people deeper into Pharaoh's palace. He led them out across the waters towards the promise. Even when the wilderness looked like death. It was holier than the comfort in captivity. We keep praying for peace in a place built on broken treaties, built by broken backs, still breaking. We keep asking the brothel to become a sanctuary. But what if the miracle isn't reform? What if the miracle is return? Return not as an escape, but as an alignment with memory, with meaning. With the land that first knew our names. Africa is not a myth. It is not punishment. It is not just history. It is home, not just for bones, but for breath, for rebuilding, for rebirth. Maybe the storms we keep feeling in our justice, in our cities, in our schools, are the same winds that rocked Jonah's ship. And maybe we are Jonah sailing west when God said, go east. Maybe the whale is waiting. Let us be honest. America is not lost. It was never ours to lose. It was never meant to love us back. So what if the most radical thing we can do is stop asking to be accepted in the house we were enslaved in, and start dreaming again of home, of a land not cursed by memory, but blessed by origin. So I just had to regroup for a moment. I wasn't expecting to have that happen as I was reading. It
happens. It's a lot.
It just, I don't know, it just brought forth that emotion.
Yeah.
We smile and we are sharing, but this isn't just like something we just woke up yesterday and said, hey, let's just move to South Africa.
It's a process. It definitely is a process.
Like, this isn't just about moving. This is correcting something that is long overdue to be corrected. Not just for us, but for those who that option wasn't provided to them. So I'm gonna let Luke talk while I get myself together. Because this ain't even the topic.
Nah, it wasn't. It was putting the information what we was talking about.
The topic was the children and schooling. So we are going to talk about that. But I wanted to share that that poetic essay that moved me, obviously. And I read it like a bunch of times before. I don't know why.
It happens. Like I say,
it triggered that, but
yeah.
actually, I do know why it happened. You know, with the past few years, people have, transitioned, and many years ago, other people in our lives that are very important have transitioned, and I think it's all just coming to a head. So yes, my apologies for...
No need to apologize. You're good. I think the information that was just put on that we just shared is just going to definitely open eyes and help someone else to understand what's really important. So no need to apologize.
Yeah. All right, so for the real reason why we decided to record this episode is, as we mentioned in previous episode, we have 4 children.
Yes.
Our oldest is in college. Actually, I can't believe he's graduating next year.
I know. Time.
2027, he's graduating from college.
Yes.
It just
it went quick.
Yesterday.
It went quick.
He was a toddler.
Yes. He's
playing with his Thomas the Tank.
No, Thomas the Train.
Yeah, it's called Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Thomas the Train. But,
we digress.
We from.
We digress. Anyway, so we have 4 children. Our oldest is in college, but we have 3 school-age children.
Yes.
Which they were on a previous episode. So Morgan is 11. She's in the 6th grade currently. Liam is 9. He's in the 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And the Spitfire, Nia, is
she's 5.
5. Yes, thank you. And she's in kindergarten.
She's in kindergarten.
So we're, obviously part of our process is finding an appropriate school for them to continue their education. We did actually briefly discuss potentially homeschooling, and we'll talk about kind of our process as far as deciding what the best course of action and what schools are going to be most suited for our children is understanding their personalities, their needs, and certainly I would say definitely for Morgan, the homeschooling.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. That child cannot be in the house.
Yeah.
Like she gets up and she's like, "What we doing today?"
She's very outgoing, social. What they call social butterfly. Like she's ready to move all the time, and it's a good thing because she's like being away. She loves people. She loves to communicate. Most importantly, connect, and she means well. And I like that because she uses her voice and she lets you know what she wants and what she wants to do, which is good.
Yeah.
We love that.
All right. So let's go to our outline so we can
keep it moving, keep
together and keep
stay in motion. Stay in motion. Movement is motion. So let's stay in motion.
So what's the first part of what we're gonna talk about?
So basically we're talking about finding the right private primary school in Johannesburg. that's the reason for this video, this information we're putting out and sharing with you. So, we talked about, I think you just shared the intro, and shared a little bit about our children and what we have. I know, right? We over here wrestling. But we shared about what we're looking for and what we have. And so let's just continue to move forward and get this process going along.
All right. So we have 3 children. They're in the 7th grade.
They'll be going to the 7th grade.
So, yes.
They'll be going to the 7th grade, which is Morgan. Liam will be going to grade 5, and Nia will be going to the 1st grade, grade 1.
Okay.
They're currently in the 6th, the 4th, and kindergarten.
All right, got it. All right, so adjusting from the U.S. to the system in South Africa. So what are some of the things that people should be aware of and keep in mind when thinking about relocation? And if they have children, what are some of the kind of differences between, just from a structure standpoint, the U.S. and South Africa?
On a structure standpoint, first and foremost, in the U.S., school starts in August and September. So South Africa starts their school year in January, and they go throughout the whole year. So that's definitely an adjustment and different process with dealing with different school systems. So wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. The time frame of when they start school is, like Luke said, different, which is why for us, we are putting things in place in order for us to be able to physically relocate by the end of this year. That way, the children will be able to start school in January of 2027 at the time of when the school year starts. That was important to us.
Yes.
Because it's going to be a transition for all of us. And to not add to that readjustment, we thought it would be best for the children to be able to start school in January when they actually start the academic year, rather than trying to start school like in the middle of the school year in South Africa. So that's one thing to be aware of and to keep in mind, particularly if you have children, when you're planning your relocation, just to be aware of that the academic school year in South Africa starts in January, rather than, as Luke mentioned, in the U.S., depending on where you live, it may be like end of August. For where we live in New Jersey, it's typically in September after the Labor Day holiday. So that's just something to be aware of. What else should they be aware of?
Uniforms. Uniforms. So uniforms are standard, so it's a part of, the schooling there. So you do have to dress in proper attire when attending school. So here in the U.S., some schools do have uniforms. So our kids do wear uniforms to go to school. Liam and Nia. So Liam is in the 4th grade, Morgan's in kindergarten. I'm sorry, Nia's in kindergarten and Morgan's in 6th grade. So Liam and Nia wear uniforms now, and Morgan doesn't wear uniforms now. She used to, but
it's gonna be an adjustment.
It's gonna be an adjustment
for sure for her, because she prefers to wear her own clothes.
Yes.
So that will definitely be an adjustment and something that we'll have to work through with her, because she was so happy this school year to not have to wear a uniform, because like Luke said, they've essentially been having to wear uniforms throughout their whole academic career thus far, with the schools that they've been enrolled in. So this is actually the first year Morgan hasn't had to wear a uniform, and she's been super happy about that.
She's loving it.
So that's definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but she'll be fine.
With her having to go back to wearing a uniform. But yeah, we'll get through it.
We'll get through it.
But yeah, that's certainly something to be aware of, that uniforms are a very common thing. We've come across a couple of schools where it's not, but the overwhelming majority of schools, whether they're private or even the the non-private schools uniform is a very common thing.
Yes.
It seems to be kind of the standard as far as attire that children wear to school. So yeah, I think those are some of the key things to be aware of when you're talking about just structurally, like the calendar year,
Yes.
and they do have. Oh, that's the other thing. In the U.S., they typically have like 2.5 months or so off for summer. So they don't have that in South Africa. They have multiple breaks throughout the year, but they go to school from January to December. They do have breaks. I think some of them are upwards of like 4 weeks from the different calendars that we've looked at for
Yes.
schools that we're considering. But they don't have like 2.5. They don't have a period of like 2.5 months where kids are out of school for like the whole summer, because it's actually summertime now in South Africa, and they start school now. Well, last month in January.
So
that's just something to be aware of. Yeah. All right. So that's as far as like adjusting. We talked a little bit about the different needs, but let's kind of elaborate a little bit more on the needs of our children and why we've started to look at the schools that we're looking at currently. So what would you say, like for Nia? She's 5, she's in kindergarten. What are some of the needs that she has and has helped us to look at different school options and see if it's a good fit?
The most important thing, I think, Nia, and that transition and coming over, the needs for her is like a nurturing environment, right? That's key, because coming over from the States to South Africa, traveling across the world into a new environment, so that nurturing environment will be key. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think for Nia, her personality, but also what she's been accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
So just for kind of background, Nia is 5, so she was born during the pandemic.
Yes.
And as many of you know, we were all at home for an extended period of time. The kids were virtual for a year and a half. So like the first couple of years of her life, she was at home.
Yeah.
For a period of time, I was able to be home with her. Actually, she's the child that I've had the longest period of time to be able to be home with, but that's a conversation for another day. But even beyond that, like she was home with Luke for an extended period of time. Once I did have to return back to work. And so she's been accustomed to kind of being in that, very nurturing,
yes,
close-knit environment. She never went to daycare, right? She never went to daycare. She did preschool.
Mm-hmm.
But where she did preschool, it was a very small group. Like it was, 4 or 5 of them at most?
Yeah, no more than 7.
No, I don't even think it was that. In her group?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like almost like a group of 5. It's a very small, it's not your typical preschool where it may be 15, upwards of 20 kids in one class. Like she went to a very small pre-K program. Actually, it was a blessing. Shout out to Miss T.
Miss T, yes.
She is absolutely godsend. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Sorry.
Yeah, we're good.
So she's, the moral of the story is that she has been accustomed to being in a very small group. And so this year she's in kindergarten, so she's in a larger class. And, she's been adjusting. She does tend to like to be kind of have more of that kind of one-on-one ability to have that one-on-one connection with a teacher. So that's certainly something that we had to be aware of and keep in mind when we're looking at schools. So certainly schools that have smaller classroom sizes, I think is more
It's
suitable
suitable for
for her, and just kind of what she's, been accustomed to.
Yeah.
And all of this is to try to help to mitigate some of the adjustments, like we mentioned.
Yes.
Certainly, everybody's gonna have to adjust.
Yes.
There's gonna be complete adjustments that have to be made across the board,
including us,
for everybody.
Yes, everybody.
But it's just really to try to help, mitigate some of those, and not exacerbate the adjustments.
Yeah,
so that's one thing that's important for her. So what would you say for like Liam and then Morgan?
Liam, that's he. So I would say independence, confidence building, right, which is key. He's an excellent student, high honor roll, but at that age, definitely confidence is very important. He has it, but at this age, and just in general from the young age, you want to build on that. That's key, and just definitely being challenged on the academic side, and plus the encouragement side, because it's very important, because those words of affirmation go a long way, and we have nothing but great things to say about the teachers that he's had during this process. And like I said, our kids are locked in, honor roll students. They love school. They love being home too as well on the weekends.
So the only thing I will add with respect to kind of the leadership and the independence, one thing that we are looking forward to with respect to the way in which, and we're speaking primarily with respect to like private schools, and we'll go over kind of why we've chosen that option, but just in general, because Luke and I were able to visit 2 schools actually when we first went to Johannesburg in November of 2024.
Yes.
And one thing that we noticed is that they do allow the children to move independently. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of opportunity for them to, be outside, have lunch, kind of move around the campus. Not that they're wandering off the school premises, but within the confines of the school.
Yes.
The way things are structured, it allows for them to develop that independence, that sense of responsibility, and kind of free movement, certainly within certain parameters.
Yeah, the confines of the school.
But I really like that, because I think it's very important for children to gain that confidence, to establish themselves from an independent standpoint, because I think with the independence comes the responsibility.
Definitely.
And developing those tools and skill sets is vital for them to be citizens of the world, and contribute to society. So that's certainly something that we're looking forward to the children being able to experience. And so that's one thing that I think Liam particularly will benefit tremendously from, because he's actually gotten a little bit of that responsibility, because before Morgan and Liam were in school together at the same school. So Morgan was the older one, kind of looking after Liam. So now he's in the other position where him and Nia are now in the same school, and Morgan is in a different school. So now he's the big brother. He, goes and gets Nia from her classroom, and they go to after school together. So he's, getting some of those early tools as far as independence, looking after his younger sister,
leadership,
making sure that she gets to where she's supposed to be after school. So he's starting to get those, but I think transitioning to the school system in South Africa is just going to take it to another level. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And what would you say with respect to Morgan are, we kind of mentioned a little bit some of Morgan's needs, like
Yes.
the homeschooling
It's not.
definitely does
It's
not
not.
align with her needs
So like,
at all.
won't align with it.
But outside of that, what are some of the other things that Morgan, you think
I think
needs,
she
and
needs.
what we've been considering as far as schools?
It's important that the school we are looking for is important that for her. It's because the preparation for high school, right? We call it high school. They call it, is it college? Is it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
I think it's called college. Yeah, college. And like I said, the leadership opportunities are very important in that for us, as well as the responsibility side for Morgan. Because when you get to that age and how things are structured moving forward, the classwork is different. The time management skills are important. And so those are the things I think are important for what we're looking for and the needs for Morgan.
Yeah, and the only thing I will add to that is just she's very artistic, and she's a little bit of a free spirit. So having a school that cultivates that and nurtures that and doesn't try to
Yeah, like put you in a box.
put you in a box.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
I think is that's certainly also what we take into consideration when looking at different school options and whether they have that environment that allows for exploration of all different parts of a child, and certainly her creativity. We want that to be cultivated, as well as certainly the academics that are also as equally important. Which is actually a good segue into what you want to talk about next, which is the academics and curriculum. So what would you say are maybe your top 2 or 3 things with respect to academics and curriculum that you think is most important when looking at the different school options?
Most important thing is our for me, for us, because we're in this together, is that the clear expectation per grade, which is important to see what that outline looks for the year. Classroom size is key. All right, so based on the size of the classes and teachers per class. So if you have a teacher's assistant as well, what the teacher do to the size of the class, and just the exam prep, prepping for that next level, the next grade, or upper primary, which would be high school for Morgan, and that process. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think the school size is definitely important, the classroom size more specifically, because I think, as we mentioned, Nia would do better in a smaller
setting.
Setting, so that she can have the ability to have that one-on-one with one-on-one time with her teachers, and they go to schools that are already kind of your average size as far as size of schools within the U.S. Definitely, I don't think being in a very large classroom, particularly for Nia's age, would be helpful. So that's definitely high on the list as far as our criteria and what we're looking at.
Yes.
When considering. With respect to the actual academics and the curriculum, I think just going through the different school options and seeing the curriculum, I think definitely they're going to be in a position where they're going to be challenged, which is very important.
We want that.
Critical skills is critical thinking skills, I should say, is also important in my mind when it comes to academics. I think one of the things that frustrates me a lot about the US system is that a lot of the curriculum and what kids are being taught is to be able to perform on tests.
Tests. That's it.
And I think while being able to demonstrate understanding and mastery of specific concepts is important, I think they over index when it comes to teaching kids in a way to be able to perform well on standardized testing. Because unfortunately, with the system here in the US, schools are ranked and graded based on how how the students perform on these standardized testing, which have a whole bias towards it, and we're not going to even get into all of that because that's a whole multi-hour conversation.
We won't talk about it.
But just to say that, we're definitely looking forward to them being in a system where critical thinking skills is valued, it is upheld, it is built into how they approach teaching, and it's not all just focused on being able to perform well on a test. And so that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to. Anything else you want to add with respect to curriculum and academics?
No, I think we're good. No, one thing too is as well, how do you support the children transitioning from another country? So that's key as well. And with that support is key coming from another country and kids adjusting. So that's another concern and a need for them. And we'll take care of that. Moving right along. All right.
All right. School culture and school values. So that's also something that we think is important to consider for those of you who do have children, is to consider the school's culture, its values, and whether they align with your values. Whether it's centered around religion, right? So there are school options that have a religious focus.
Yes.
In addition to academics. Certainly there are schools that don't have any kind of religious affiliations. That's just kind of one example. For us, when I think about culture and values, it's definitely important for us to have a nurturing environment and culture, as well as a intolerance to bullying.
Yes.
Which unfortunately we find is, I don't know if it's more than when we were growing up. I just think it just looks different.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like bullying like in the classroom. Now you have this whole other realm with social media of bullying. And so for us, we definitely want to make sure that our children are in a school where those things are absolutely not tolerated. And they're dealt with if they do happen. And so that's also, very important to us from a school culture standpoint. What would you say? Anything in addition to that?
That's bullying is important. How teachers.
Sorry, I feel like my lips are dry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You're good. There's definitely we want to share as well how teachers speak to the learners and the students, right? That's important to us as well, and the overall feel of the school, just the community. That's one word we live by is community, and how the kids enjoy coming to the school, because that's important to us, and we live by that, and I think that's it. That's all. That's what I wanted to share
Okay.
on that part.
All right. Inclusivity and diversity. I think
Yes.
that's also very
Yes.
important, which is part of the reason why we're looking at international schools, um, because we really want our children to have an understanding of what it means to be a global citizen. That's something that vital, is um, is important to us.
Yes.
That's part of this whole process, this whole journey, this whole decision to relocate is to move our children out of this box of this is life, this is how it
It's supposed
is
to be.
supposed to be. You're supposed to stay within these four walls or four borders. And that's it. Like that's the beginning and the end. And we don't want our children to be of that mindset. We want them to understand that they are a human being, that they live in a world that isn't defined by borders, and that they are citizens of the world. And so it's very important for them to be in a space where they meet people from all different walks of life,
Yes.
different parts of the world,
Yes.
different cultures. Because I really believe, and yeah, I'm just going to stand on it, that people who have a broader worldview are just better people as far as how they act, how they treat others. When you have a very narrowed sense of the world, that's when we get into a lot of the issues that we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it like that.
Yeah. I agree.
So yeah, definitely didn't want to gloss over that point with respect to the diversity and also inclusivity. It's important that not only are there people from different walks of life, different cultures, but those cultures are respected and they're valued and not devalued. So that's also very important. So let's talk next about the extracurricular activities or extramurals, as it's often referred to, when it comes to the different school options and what's important for those schools to offer.
What's important is making friends and feeling included during that process. Sports and activities are key. Our kids love a little bit of everything, from coding to robotics to arts, Lego building, theater. So these are the things we're looking for on that side, just to get them moving and understanding that that's also a part of school, and enjoying it.
Yeah, so I would agree that for us, it's very important for the schools to offer a wide range of different activities for the children to do, whether it's sports like Luke mentioned, music, arts. Liam is very much into building, so like robotics. I think it's definitely important for them to be, from a technology standpoint, gain that literacy, whether you're talking about like coding and things of that nature. So, having all of those different types of offerings are important. And so that's what we look at when we're considering the different school options that we've been looking at thus far. And then the last couple, wait, not last thing, second to last. Yeah, so second to last. So, what are some of the kind of practical considerations people should be thinking about when looking at school options?
School location is key, and Johannesburg traffic. Yes, I'm gonna say that one more time. The school location is key, and Johannesburg traffic.
Yeah. So when you say location, I think more specifically, location in relationship to where you plan to live.
Proximity, yes, that is key.
I think
Yes.
that's those kind of things go hand in hand. And that's a little bit of an adjustment depending on where you are in the U.S. and whether or not your children go already to a private school or if they go to public school. The proximity isn't as much of a consideration when your children are in the public school system because they go to school based on where you live.
Yes.
Which is usually near where you live. So that's not so much of a
issue.
Consideration to think about. But if you're moving abroad and you are looking to put your children in a private school, then you have to also take into consideration where you plan to live, because you don't want to. Well, we don't. I don't want to speak for other people, but we don't want to have to be spending, an hour, commuting, back and forth to school for the children. So we want to be able to find a place that is in a location that we also would want to live near, so that we don't have those logistical issues, because there are, Johannesburg is a city, and so it has traffic like any other city. And when you're talking about, school hours and times of, picking up, you're talking, particularly if they do like after school, activities, when you're coming home, it's going to be in the heart of, rush hour when people are leaving work and going home and all those things. So it's important to keep that in mind when you're looking at the different school options. You always want to think about, okay, where are we going to live, or what areas we're looking to live in, and, how close is the school to where we're looking to live. So those are important things to keep in mind.
Yes.
And then also the school hours are a little bit different compared to the U.S. Like they start earlier. So they usually start like a 7:30ish. Is usually when the start time is for, the different schools that we've been looking at. And then the end time is actually a little earlier in the afternoon than what, I think majority of us are accustomed to in the U.S. Usually in the U.S., school can be done like 2:30, 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. The latest 3:30.
3 o'clock-ish. And school usually starts around 8-ish. Whereas in South Africa, it starts a little early, so like 7:30, like you mentioned. And some of the school days, they end like 1:15, like before 2 o'clock.
Yes.
So that's also something to keep in mind. Now, with the schools that we've been looking at, they do have after-school care. So your kids can stay at school beyond 1:15, 1:30, 2 o'clock, depending on the school in the day and their grade level. So I've noticed that the higher up they go, the longer the day is. Like for like Nia's age group, a lot of the schools, like the school day will end like around 1:15, 1:30, but they do have the aftercare options available at the schools that we've been looking at thus far. So that's also something to be aware of as far as the timing of school and how long the school day is, and whether or not there are options for after school care. And then
yes,
the thing
cost. The cost, the fees and what's included.
Yes.
Yeah, let's say it one more time. Now, the fees and what's included, because you want to get what you pay for, right? And that's very important. So we pay for, like as my wife mentioned before, if you watched any of our videos in the beginning, we will pay for service, right? Good service, great service. Like we're not trying to cut corners, and we want this, we want that. So if you're giving us what we need, we're gonna pay you for that.
Yeah.
That's important to us on the educational side, and just in general in life, So.
Yeah. So that's also, something that you have to budget, right?
Yes.
Particularly if your children don't go to private school currently in the U.S. and they go to public school. Like public school is free, and well, you don't pay a fee you pay taxes.
Pay taxes, so it's not free. No.
So I don't want to frame it as it's free. No,
free.
we pay taxes.
So
that's how the school systems are funded through tax dollars, which we all have to pay. But as far as like an additional fee that you have to pay in the U.S., if your children are in a public school, you don't pay school fees. So that's something that you have to think about, consider budgets, and understand that if you're going to be at a private school in South Africa, you're gonna have to pay school fees. So you just have to factor that in, figure out what makes sense for you and your family financially, what you're able to afford, and there's wide-ranging options. But if you look at the comparison between what it costs to put a child in private school here in the U.S. versus what it costs there, as far as the quality of the school, the wide-ranging activities that they have, access to the facilities, the campus, like all of those things. Like if you took, some of the schools that we've been looking at and you put them in New Jersey or New York, you're paying triple the price.
Yes,
at least
for one
child. Triple the price. So yes, there are school fees. Yes, it does cost money to put your child in a private school. But if you do the comparison as to if you had your child in a kind of a equivalent type of school here in the U.S., I would say you're probably paying triple the price. Yeah, I mean, there's like some schools in you're paying like $15,000 for kindergarten.
Yeah,
$20,000 like per child.
That's just kindergarten. Some schools are
the prices can be astronomical when it comes to private schools here in the U.S. So yes, there is a cost, but again, just factor that into your budget, into your consideration when you're moving, particularly if you're not accustomed to paying for school. If your kids are in public school and now you have to pay for your children to go to school, if you want them to be in a private school, that's something that you just have to be aware of and budget for. And so then the last thing we would say is setting up school visits and tours. I think that's definitely important to do that, because it's one thing to research online and look at what's the curriculum, what are the extracurricular activities, what are the school fees, all of those things are on the school's websites. But you have to really go and feel out a school and feel the environment, feel the vibe, talk to the administration, talk to the teachers, kind of see the children in the school like on a regular day and see what that looks like and how the children are. Do they seem happy? Do they seem comfortable? Do they seem to be able to thrive and move and flourish? Like you can really feel those things out when you go and you visit a school. And so as mentioned, like Luke and I, we did visit 2 schools when we were there in November of 24. Actually, we're coming back to Josie.
Yeah, we're coming back.
We'll be there end of March. And part of the time that we'll be there, we will visit 1 or 2 more schools. And also at that time, we will have our children with us. During the previous visit, our children weren't with us during that particular visit. So it's going to be important for us, this upcoming visit in March, to allow the kids to see a couple of school options and, see exactly what fits.
What fits for them. We're going to involve them in this process because it's what's best for them. So I'm excited about them coming on the visits with us because I'm a very involved parent. So parent communication, parent involvement is key. We are parents that are in the system with you, and what I mean by that is, the teachers, the principal. We are involved in the community. So I want my kids to go on these visits with us, and we're going to ask them questions, and we want them to let us know how they really feel about this process. And did you like it? Did you not like it? What was the best part of your day? And so forth. So I'm excited about that when we come back in March.
Yeah. And setting up the tours isn't really all that difficult. Most of the sites, they have like contacts, like you can contact them, and if you're interested in a tour, you can schedule one. I know they do have kind of general, like what we often refer to in the US as like open houses,
Yes.
where you can go and visit the school. Because we're not in Johannesburg, and for majority of people maybe that are considering this, they don't physically live there. So if you are visiting, factoring that in, if you have children, to your visit to South Africa, to see if, in that time period where you will be there to visit, to be able to have a tour set up for different schools, so your children can see exactly what it's like, what to expect, and see exactly what fits their personalities, and where you think they will thrive, because it's a critical decision. I mean, certainly you can always change, right? If a school isn't working or things aren't working, you can change. There are many different options.
There's a lot of options.
There's a lot of options when it comes to schooling in South Africa, specifically in Johannesburg, but throughout South Africa, excuse me. So definitely you should make sure that that's on your list when traveling, and if you have children, to set up a school tour, because it's really simple.
And moving along to our final thoughts, just want to share this with you. And there's no such thing as a perfect school, so keep that in mind. There's no such thing as a perfect school. Find what's right for you and your family, most importantly, your kids. That's the key. So just because you think it's right for you may not be right for them. So find out what's right for them. All right. Trust your instincts. That's what we live by and we go on. And involve your kids in this process. Like I said before, like it's not what you want, but involve them in the process and listen to them. Understand what they're telling you, because they know what's right for them just as well as we know what's right for them as well. But if they share something with you, like, oh, I didn't like that, and ask them why, and adjust. Like I said before, pivot.
Yeah. And also setting expectations. I think for a lot of us, we have to kind of shed some of the residue of what we've dealt with in the U.S. as it relates to schooling.
I like that. Residue. Shed the residue. I like that. I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, because I think you come with a certain baggage, right?
Yeah.
Particularly if you've had or had negative experiences with your children and the school system in the U.S. You'll carry that baggage with you, and so I think it's important to be aware of that and to approach it with like a clean slate.
Yes.
And really be open to things being done maybe a little bit differently than what you're accustomed to. And also there's a lot of networking that you can do. I mean, for example, like yesterday we had a conversation with a parent who's from the US, has relocated to Johannesburg, who has a child in a private school, actually one of the private schools that we were looking at and considering. Her son is in that school. And so, we did a little bit of reaching out, and we were able to set up a conversation and a call. And so, particularly now where there's so many people who've done it already, I would definitely encourage you to just reach out to people. I
Yeah.
think for the most part, I think most people are open to communicating and sharing, particularly if they're already like on YouTube, right? Obviously, they're sharing. So, if you come across, people who are sharing their content and are there and doing something that maybe you're interested in, or in an area that you're interested in, just reach out, because I think it there's no negative to that, right?
No.
It's just a conversation. Hey, what's been your experience? And you'll find things that you may not have been aware of or even thought to ask. And it just also gives you that added reassurance, like, hey, I'm here. This is where my child is. This has been our experience. These are the things that you should be, thinking about or considering. These are things that you should just be aware of, and how they're done. So I think those things, we have the benefit of that, right? For probably, not so long ago, we don't have that benefit. One, because you didn't have these mediums where you can connect with people that you otherwise would not have known or been able to connect with. So I would just say, I would encourage you to leverage that, and to utilize those types of resources and access points to get more information, so that you can make the best decision for you and your family, which is why we're doing this channel to begin with, just to
Yes.
provide the information that we have, to share our journey, our process, and pay it forward, because others have done it for us. Like we got connected with that family that we had a conversation with yesterday through the Real South Africa, and Dr. Latasha more specifically, just reaching out to her and saying, hey, can you connect me with this person? I saw that they were on your channel. They're in Johannesburg. Their son is in a school that we're thinking about. And she was like, yeah, sure. I'll reach out and see if she's good with you talking with her, and so forth. So it's doable.
Yes.
And there are people out there that can help. So seek it. Don't just try to go it alone and be on the internet and try to figure it out by yourself. Like, there are people on the ground who are doing this, so it's important to connect with those people.
Yes, and not be in this journey by yourself. Everyone brings something to the table, and we learn that foundation. So you bring your brick, I'll bring my brick, and we'll continue to help each other out. All right?
Yeah. So we typically like to leave you with 3 things, but I don't think we really have 3 things. Usually I like to have 1, 2, 3 kind of already kind of set in our minds. This episode's been a little bit different,
But
for sure.
different is okay.
But it's okay.
It's okay.
I would say my one kind of call to action is what I was just mentioning. Really connect with people who are doing what you seek to do, who are where you seek to go. Certainly we have settled on relocating to South Africa, but if South Africa doesn't fit what you're looking for, there are people out there they're in Kenya, they're in Rwanda, they're in Ghana. The list goes on and
options.
on. So just reach out to those people. So that would be my, call to action, is just to connect with people. And like Luke said, don't get on this journey alone. There are people out there that can help you, and that want to help you.
Yes. Adjustment takes time, right? That's the most important thing. Adjustment takes time, and I just want to share with you. We want to share with you that it's okay. Don't be on this journey by yourself, and that's it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this episode. I really did. Change is good, and just flowing, and just having a good time. while we share the information that we're involving ourselves in.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sticking with us during this episode, I should say. And don't forget to, what is it?
Like, share, and subscribe if this video has helped you in any way.
To our liberation journey.
Yes. Once again.
Let's do it. Take 2. Go ahead.
Take 2. Like, share, and subscribe to our liberation journey.
Because sharing is
caring.
All right.
That's it.
Yes.
You like that? You want to do another one?
It's all right.
Nah.
But y'all get the point.
You get it. We get it.
This is our liberation journey.
Yes.
We will continue to share. We are back on being more consistent after having a little bit of a break. But we will continue to share, and definitely more to come. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. See you soon.
Take care.